Hello and welcome back, guys. We're now starting a new story, The Amazing Spider-Deku, written by Rabidzu. You can find author's profile link in the description. Let's begin Chapter 1, The Makings of Something Amazing. Who am I? Are you sure you really want to know? Well, I'm warning you. It's not exactly a happy story. Lots and lots of scenes of me getting my butt handed to me and it's not all the time, but there are moments here and there. I mean it's not like it's all just bad stuff, but, you know what? I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here. Let's start off with some basic introductions. Sound good? Good, well then, let's dive right into how I eventually became Spider-Man. Gasper on Instagram, smiley face. That's mean Kakin. A young child with green hair, glasses and red shoes said as he stood in front of a crying boy. Can't you see he's crying? This isn't right. If you keep going. The young boy readies his fists and stand in between the crying boy and a young blonde child. I'll never forgive you. The young boy said to the blonde child. Yup. That kid with the big goofy glasses shaking in his big red shoes, tears in his eyes. That's me. Izuku Midoriya. This is when I was 4 years old. Man, I still remember this moment to this very day. I remember being scared out of my mind, but just look at the kid behind me. There's no way I could have just left him like that. Not when he was being bullied. If there's one thing I won't ever stand for, it's bullies. The blonde child only smirks viciously as his two friends behind him activates their quirk. Even thought you're just a quirkless bug. The blonde boy said as his hands exploded with small explosions. You're still trying to pretend to be a hero, Deku. Unfortunately, this is who I'm up against at the time. This kid. That's my childhood friend, ex-best friend. To be honest, I don't really know what we are anymore. I thought we were friends, but then after learning that I was quirkless, things changed a lot between us. And I mean a lot. Like a lot more bruises and scrapes when going home. The three boys all charged towards the green-haired boy with malicious intent written on their faces. I'll blast those stupid glasses right off of your face, you damned nerd. Katsuki yelled. A few moments later, Izuku lays on the ground, covered in bruises and scratches as he stared at the sky above him. Yup, that's me again. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it, I got my butt kicked, slapped onto a silver platter, hand wrapped perfectly like a Christmas present from Santa himself and chucked at my face. But it wasn't all bad. I mean, apart from the insane amount of pain I was in, it's not like I walked away with nothing. Despite the rough beating I got that day, I gained something irreplaceable. Are you okay? The boy with brown hair asked Izuku. That looked like it hurt. The boy with brown hair extends his hand out towards Izuku. I'm okay, Izuku said as he took the boy's hand and stood up. Are you hurt? Only a little bit, the boy said as he helped Izuku stand. The boy picks up Izuku's glasses and cleans it with his shirt. You didn't have to do that for me, the boy said to Izuku. I know, but you were crying and in pain. I couldn't just watch you get hurt, Izuku replied. Besides, I'm used to it too. Kakin always seems to beat me up these days. Sorry for dragging you into this, but thanks for trying to help me. The boy said as he held out his hand to Izuku. Even though you got beat up too, you were really cool. Izuku smiles as he puts on his glasses and shakes the boy's hand. Hey, what's your name? The boy asked Izuku. Izuku Midoriya, Izuku replied. All men are not created equal. This was the reality I learned about society at the young age of I wasn't born a hero. I wasn't born special. But if there's one thing life taught me, it's that fate doesn't care where you start. It only cares about where you end up, how you get there and whether or not you give up. And me. Giving up has never been one of my strong suits. -10 years later, and teenage Izuku in a middle school uniform sprints down the street wearing his red shoes, running through a puddle of water with a smile on his face as sounds of a fight could be heard in the distance. Come on, come on, come on, put the pedal to the metal, Izuku. You're gonna miss it. Izuku said to himself excitedly as he ran down the sidewalk. Izuku finds himself at an intersection, waiting for the cars to pass before crossing the street. Oh great, rush hour, classic Midoriya luck right there. Izuku said to himself as he jogged in place. Come on, come on, come on, just change to green already. The crosswalk sign finally changes to green, causing Izuku to immediately sprint ahead as he hears a beastly roar down towards his right. Down here. Please tell me the action's not over yet. Izuku pleaded as he looked up, joining the large crowd gathering around the train tracks above him. The villain roars loudly and angrily, scaring the locals around him. I made it just in time. Izuku said excitedly as he looked up onto the train tracks. And that's still me, but 14 years old and still wearing the same goofy glasses that I've had since I was a kid. That villain's huge. Izuku exclaimed. Everyone, please stand back. Backdraft announced as he created a safety line with his quirk. That hero. That's the rescue specialist hero, Backdraft. Izuku exclaimed excitedly. I can't believe he's actually here. Man, that villain looks insanely strong. Having a quirk that turns you into a giant monster like that is amazing though, a man commented. I need to get a better look. I need to get closer. Izuku whispered as he tried to look over the people in front of him. What did he do? He stole someone's bag and went out of control when he got cornered. A quirk like that and he's a bag snatcher. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. Sorry. Izuku said to the people around him as he made his way towards the front of the crowd. What are quirks, you might be wondering? Well, that's a bit complicated. See, it all began in China, in Qingqing City about 100 years ago. There was news that a baby who shined brightly like a light was born. Ever since then, superpowers were suddenly being discovered all over the world. No one ever discovered the cause of this phenomenon, even after all of these years. Then before we even knew it, the supernatural became the new normal and dreams became reality. The world's become a superhuman society and about 80% of the world's population now has some kind of special power. Or in this case, quirks. In this world swirling with chaos, the profession that everyone once dreamed about and admired came into the limelight. And that profession is. The large villain roars loudly as he smashes through a metal support beam, causing it to fall down onto the civilians below. Just as the falling beams were about to hit the ground, a large muscular man with white hair slides underneath the beam and catches the heavy metal. Superheroes. Oh, it's the punching hero, Death Arms. Izuku exclaimed. He carries out justice through his physical strength. The civilian next to him added as a shadow passed over them. Kya. You can do it, Kamui. A group of fangirls exclaimed as Kamui Woods rushed towards the villain. Kamui Woods. The young and talented rising star. Izuku exclaimed as he looked up. Kamui Woods leaps onto the train tracks and dodges the villain's grapple that destroys the brick railings. Get away from me. The large villain yelled as he roared at Kamui. The large villain tries to swipe his hand at Kamui, who stretches his wooden arm out towards a nearby beam and swings away from the villain. Kamui swings back towards the villain and dodges another slam attack. He lands on top of the villain's hand and begins to run up along his arm. Kamui wraps his arms around the villain's wrist, trying to pull him down. The villain swings his wrist around, however, dragging Kamui Woods along with him. Kamui releases the villain's wrist as he lands on top of a nearby train. Kamui looks up at the large villain facing him as he slowly stood up. Illegal use of powers during rush hour and robber resulting in bodily injury. You are truly the incarnation of evil. Kamui declared as his right arm began to grow multiple branches and enlarges in size. Oh, here it comes. Kamui Wood's special move. Izuku exclaimed. Show us something flashy, Tree Man, the man next to Izuku added. It's the preemptive. Izuku exclaimed excitedly. Binding. Kamui Woods continued as he extends his wooden arm out towards the villain. Lacquered chain prison, canyon cannon. A large woman yelled as she kicks the villain off of the train tracks. The rest of the crowd stare in shock at the large woman kicking the villain, alongside Izuku. Ha! Kamui asked in shock as the villain falls to the ground unconscious. Today is the day of my debut. The name's Mount Lady, a pleasure to meet your butt-quaintance. Mount Lady said as she posed for the camera. There it is, there it is, there it is. A wave of photographers said in unison as they began to take pictures of Mount Lady's butt. A new hero debuting today. I have to write this profile down quick for my notebook. Izuku thought as he searched through his back. Oh man, I really need to sort all of my stuff out. I can't find anything in this old thing. Mount Lady begins to wave to the crowd as they all cheer for her. She then starts to shrink down to her normal size. Along with the superpowers came an explosive increase in crime. As countries around the world were stuck in the slow progress of drastic law reforms, courageous people started performing heroic acts right out from old comic books. Guarding against superpowers and defending people against evil. Based on their performance, they are paid by the government and gain renown among the masses. Everyone, please back away from the crime scene. For anyone who is injured, please make your way over to this storefront over here. An ambulance is on its way to help you tend to your injuries. Backdraft announced. Gigantification huh? Izuku asked as he wrote in his notebook. She looks like she'll be popular, her quirk is amazing too. But considering just how large she can actually grow, she must constantly be taking into account about the damage she could cause to the city that'll go hand in hand with her quirk. I wonder, does she have control over the actual size she can grow into? Because if that's the case, then, hey youngster, you're taking notes. You looking to become a hero or something? A man asked Izuku. Oh, sorry. Yes, I am. Izuku replied. That's a great goal you have, do your best. The man replied. Alright, thank you so much. Izuku replied with a smile. From around the corner, a boy with brown hair wearing a middle school uniform turns and spots Izuku in the crowd. He sighs and runs towards Izuku. There you are. Izuku, come on. We're gonna be late. The boy yelled to Izuku. If we have to run 8 laps around the track again as punishment, I'm blaming you. Oh, this guy. This is Harry Osborne. Yeah, that Osborne, as in the son of Norman Osborne. President and CEO of Oscorp. He's the heir of the largest tech industries in the world and he's also been my best friend ever since we were kids, that kid that Kaken was beating up. Yeah, that was him. He and his dad moved here when we were kids, so we've been friends for a long while now. Also, he's super rich. You should see their apartment building, it's crazy. Alright, sorry Harry. Izuku said to Harry as he joined him. I didn't mean to ditch you like that, you took off faster than Flash when you heard there was a villain attacking. Man, one of these days, you're gonna get yourself killed you know. The moment you heard there was a villain attacking, you charged head first towards it. Harry said to Izuku. You're not some kind of Superman you know. I know, sorry Harry. I just couldn't help it, I've been meaning to complete this hero analysis book for a while now. Izuku replied. You and that hero book, honestly, I don't know if you're brave or just plain nuts. Harry replied. You know, usually when people hear there's danger, they run the other way. But you run right towards it, like some kind of I don't know, fanatic. Sorry, Izuku replied. It's cool man, you're like a moth to a flame I guess. Just can't help it, huh Izuku? Harry replied as he looked over to Mount Lady, who posed for the cameras. You sure do like heroes, huh? How could I not? Seeing so many different heroes with so many different and amazing quirks, imagine all of the possibilities Harry. Think about just the kinds of things those quirks could possibly evolve into it is way too early for you to be nerding out like this. Harry groaned as he began pushing Izuku back towards their school. Tell me all about it during lunch, alright. Wait, I want to look at the heroes a bit longer. I need to take some more notes, and I don't want to do laps around the track again because we were late, again. Harry replied as he threw his arm around Izuku. There will be more villain attacks for you to rush off towards some other time, but right now, we need to get to class. Wait, what about Melissa's already gone ahead? She's trying to buy us time, so we gotta get going. Harry yelled. Come on Izuku, let's make tracks. Almost everyone these days dream of becoming a hero, just like their idols, including me. What's my quirk you may be asking? Well, Aldera Junior High alright students, since you're all third years now, it's time for you all to seriously start thinking about your futures. Your hopes, your dreams, and your aspirations. All of these things should be considered when deciding your next move. The homeroom teacher said to his students as he stood in front of the podium. Izuku sits in the back of his class, writing in his notebook and not concentrated on classes at all. I'd pass out the handouts for your future plans now, but, the homeroom teacher said as he began to smile, his students beginning to activate their quirks. You're all. The teacher throws the handout sheets into the air as the students all began to show their quirks. Pretty much planning to go into the hero course, right? The homeroom teacher asked. Yes sir. The class all cheered. Yes, you all have wonderful quirks at your disposal. But please, tone it down. Using your powers at school is against the rules. The homeroom teacher announced. Hey teach, don't lump me in with the rest of these losers. A spiky blonde-haired boy said to the teacher as he kicked his feet up onto his desk. I'm not gonna be stuck at the bottom with the rest of these rejects. That was uncalled for Katsuki. Yeah, what's your problem man? How about you all shut up like the extras you know you are? Katsuki yelled back. Oh, if I remember correctly, you wanted to go to high school, right Bakugo? The homeroom teacher asked. High. That national school. It was in the top 2% this year you know. Their acceptance rate's always really low too. Izuku hears the whispers of his classmates and keeps his head down low, avoiding eye contact. That's exactly why you guys are just extras. Katsuki yelled as he stood on top of his desk. I aced the mock test, I'm the only one at this school who could possibly get into It's my destiny to surpass All Might and become the top hero in the country. That #1 spot on the hero ranking is my birthright. My name will be inscribed on the list of top heroes and go down in history as one of the greatest heroes who's ever lived. Oh yeah, Midoriya wanted to go to you, too, right? The homeroom teacher asked. Izuku flinches at the sound of his name being mentioned as Katsuki stands frozen in shock. Izuku slowly looks up and sees his entire class staring at him with looks of skepticism and disbelief before suddenly bursting into laughter. Ha! Midoriya. No way. As if someone like him would ever get into You can't get into the hero course just by studying you know. Guess dreamers are just gonna keep on dreaming, huh? They got rid of that ruling last year. Izuku exclaimed. Now anyone can, Katsuki roars with rage as he releases an explosion onto Izuku's desk, knocking him back towards the end of the classroom. Hey Deku. You know you're below the rejects. You're quirkless you damned nerd. How can you even stand in the same ring as me? Katsuki yelled angrily. You think someone as weak and quirkless like you could ever possibly hope to match me? Stop trying to make me laugh Deku. And no Kachin. I'm not trying to compete with you, I swear. Izuku stuttered as he backed away. It's just been my goal ever since I was little so I figured I won't know unless I try, you know. What do you mean, unless you try? Are you taking the test for fun? The spiky blonde yelled. What the hell can you do? You're quirkless. Get that through that stupid skull of yours. You were born quirkless, you'll always be quirkless and you'll die quirkless too. Got it. Even so, Izuku stammered. Today Junior, we don't have all day you stuttering geek. A classmate yelled out to Izuku, making the class laugh even more. Deku as a hero. That'll be the day. If he's a hero then I'm a flying pig. The class continues their loud roar of laughter as Izuku hides his eyes behind the shine of his glasses. Even so I want to at least try, Izuku thought as he tried to block out the sound of his classmates, looking down and avoiding eye contact with anyone else. Yup, you heard it right folks. I'm quirkless. In a world of superheroes and amazing powers, I'm one of the few who aren't anything exceptional. No special powers, no abilities, not even the smallest mutation. I'm just a plain old human. A wallflower if anything. But little did I know that after today, my life would change forever. At the end of the school day, the school bell rang throughout the middle school, signifying the end of class and the day. Izuku looked at the news on his phone as his classmates began to leave the classroom. The incident this morning is all over the headlines. Izuku said to himself as he scrolled through his phone. I can't wait to go home after the science club meeting today. I want to go home as soon as possible so I can write it down in my notebook. Izuku then puts his phone away into his pocket as he puts his book bag onto the table. As Izuku reached out for his notebook, it's immediately snatched away, surprising him. Hey! Izuku exclaimed as he looked up, seeing Katsuki holding his notebook away as he looked down at him. Keikachin. We're not done talking yet Deku. Katsuki said as he looked down on Izuku. Hey Katsuki, what's that you're holding? One of Katsuki's friends asked. Katsuki holds out Izuku's notebook towards his entourage to read. Ha! Hero analysis for the future. Katsuki's friend asked before laughing. What kind of lame thing is that? So what if it's lame? It's what I like to do. Come on, give it back. Izuku exclaimed. Without a moment's hesitation, Katsuki uses his quirk and explodes the notebook right in front of Izuku, causing him to scream in terror. My notebook! Izuku exclaimed. Adding salt to the wound, he tosses it out the window, causing Izuku even more grief. Why? Why would you do that? Izuku yelled as he ran towards the window, seeing his notebook fall into the nearby koi pond. Most top first-string heroes have stories about them from their school days. I want the shine of being able to be called the only student to make it into you, from this backwater school. Katsuki said to Izuku. After all, it's my destiny to become the greatest hero who ever lived. Izuku remains silent as he looks at his notebook floating in the water of the pond. So if you know what's good for you don't apply to you, you'd med nerd. Katsuki said to Izuku as he turned him around and placed his hand on his shoulder. Unless you want to die an early death that is. Izuku. A girl's voice called out as Izuku looked behind Katsuki, seeing a blonde-haired girl and Harry standing at the doorway. Melissa. Izuku muttered. Leave him alone. Harry's voice echoed throughout the classroom, making Katsuki stop and look back. Get your dirty hands off of him now. The hell do you want Osborne? Katsuki asked Harry. You have hearing problems. All those explosions blast out your eardrums or something? Harry asked. I said leave him alone. Ask nicely then Gaijin. One of Katsuki's lackeys said to him. Author's note, Gaijin is the word used by Japanese people often referring to someone as an outsider. In this context, he is using it in a sense to call Harry a foreigner, essentially an American. I just asked nicely. Harry replied. Wanna see how I ask when I'm set off? Let him go. Now. You telling me what to do American? Katsuki growled as he released small explosions in his hands. Yeah. I guess I am. Harry said as he began to release a green gas from his hands. We aren't kids anymore, Bakugo. I ain't gonna just sit by and let you beat me up like back then. Like that would even matter. You were weak back then and you're weak now. Katsuki replied. If you wanna fight, then swing first. Think you scare me, punk? Harry asked. Big talk coming from a rich boy who flunked out of every other private school in the country. Isn't your dad supposed to be some big shot scientist or something? Bet having a kid as stupid as you embarrasses him. Katsuki said to Harry. It'd be a shame for you to flunk out of a pathetic school like this too. Katsuki looks over to Melissa, who was glaring at him. Melissa shield her old man's David Shield, some kind of famous engineer. He's got a lot of leeway in the hero world, including connections to the principal of UA. If she snitches to her old man about this, it could ruin my chances of getting into you, Katsuki thought before looking over to Izuku. Katsuki then scoffs, pushing Izuku back into the desks nearby before walking away. Guess your little girlfriend saved you this time, Deku. Katsuki said to Izuku. Come on guys, let's get out of here. Izuku. Melissa yelled as she ran past Katsuki, who was walking away from Izuku. The world's got enough quirkless losers like you two crawling around. Do yourself and the planet a favor and try not to have useless babies together. Katsuki asked. Oh hey Deku, even better idea. If you want a quirk, maybe you should take a swan dive off of the roof and pray you get a quirk in your next life. That's it. Harry yelled as he got up and picked up a chair. You're dead meat bomb boy. Harry, don't. Izuku yelled as he held Harry back. It's okay. No it's not. You heard what he said, right? He just told you to kill yourself. Harry yelled before looking back over to Katsuki. I don't know who you think you are, pal, but nobody talks to my friends like that. Harry, please. Stop. Izuku pleaded with Harry as he held him back. But Izuku. Harry muttered. It's alright really, it's alright, Izuku said as he looked down at the ground. It's not worth it, please, don't do something that will get you in trouble. Harry remains silent as he glares at Katsuki, who only scoffs as he leaves the classroom. TCH, so lame. You could at least try to say something instead of just standing there. Katsuki's first friend said to the shaking Izuku. Did you expect anything less? He's pathetic. Just look, he can't even face reality even if he tried. Katsuki's second friend added. Look at him, just standing there. Like someone like him would ever become a hero. The three all leave the classroom as Izuku, Harry and Melissa all glare at them. As the three bullies leave the room, Harry puts down the chair and exhales as Melissa walks over to Izuku. Are you okay? Melissa asked as she dusted off Izuku's uniform. They didn't rough you up too much, did they, pal? Harry asked. He burned your school uniform again, Melissa replied as she inspected Izuku's uniform. It's fine, I mean, we're all graduating anyway, so, Izuku replied. It's not like I'll be wearing it anymore anyway, hee man, you really do pick the worst times to start joking like that. Harry said to Izuku. What are you doing here, Melissa? I thought you would have been in the science room by now, Izuku asked. I just came by to tell you that the president of the science club had an emergency today, so there won't be any club meetings today. Melissa replied. I bumped into Harry in the hallways and he offered us a ride home in his limousine. So I came to find you and, that's when we saw Bakugo putting his sweaty little paws on you. Harry added before offering his hand to Izuku, to which Izuku accepts as he stands on his feet. Thanks guys, Izuku replied. Izuku looks out towards the window, which Melissa and Harry notice. What's wrong, man? Harry asked. My notebook, Izuku replied. Outside of the school, Izuku, Harry and Melissa all approached the floating notebook in the pond, which was being nibbled at by the koi fish. Izuku stares at his now damaged and wet notebook in the water. That's not fish food, you know, Izuku said in defeat as he picked the notebook out of the water. That Bakugo. How could he do this to someone he used to run around on the playground with? Melissa said as she looked at Izuku's notebook, you guys used to be as thick as thieves. And now you're on thinner ice than a snowman in a microwave. Yeah, you're telling me, Izuku replied. What really bothers me is that comment he made. I hope he knows that if that really happened, he would be charged with instigating a suicide. Harry added. Seriously Izuku, why do you let him keep treating you like that? I don't mind standing up for you here and there, but come on man. Harry asked. Well it's Kacchan, it's just how he is. It's not, oh my god, you're defending him. Melissa yelled. I am not defending, you are. You are defending him. Melissa replied. I can't believe you. Why are you defending him after everything he's done to you? I just, Izuku muttered. Izuku, you can't be afraid of him your entire life Izuku. Sometimes, you really just saddle up and grab the bull by the horns, you know. Harry said to Izuku. We're about to go into high school man, one of these days, you're gonna have to stand up for yourself man. If you let people like that know you're afraid of them, then they'll just keep pushing you around forever. I know, but what could someone like me possibly do to someone like him? I mean, he has a quirk and Izuku muttered. But doing something, even trying, is better than just standing there and taking it. Harry replied. You're my friend Izuku, I just don't ever want to see anyone treating you like that. I wrote everything down in this notebook, Izuku whispered as he flipped through the wet pages. Every hero I came across, their costume, their support gears, their quirks, everything. Izuku continues flipping through the pages until he stops onto Katsuki's page, to which Melissa and Harry spots. But even with all of these notes by my side, what could I possibly do against someone like Kacchan? I mean, he's got a powerful quirk. If he's going to you, there's no doubt he'll become a pro hero in no time, maybe even the next #1 hero, Izuku continued. Meanwhile I'm just me. A quirkless nobody, a Deku. Izuku, Melissa muttered. Yeah, maybe you're right. But you know, it wasn't some hero with a strong quirk that day that came to my rescue when I got into the spat with Bakugo 10 years ago. You know who it was? Harry asked. A quirkless and scrawny green-haired kid, shaking in his big red boots, that saved me. Was the scrawny part necessary? Izuku asked. It's not exactly like you were well built yourself, mister. I got a boo-boo on my knee from the swing set. Melissa added. Bottom line, quirk or no quirk, you still stood up to him. Even though you were probably more scared than me, but you came to my rescue anyway. That's what you can do, Izuku. Harry replied. Even when you had no chance of beating him, you threw yourself into danger for someone in need. Like a true hero would for anyone. Like All Might would. Melissa replied with a smile. You really mean that? Izuku asked. More than anything, man. Harry replied as he placed his fist onto Izuku's chest. You're my hero, Izuku. And you did that, all without a quirk. So chin up, tiger. Melissa replied with a smile. What does Bakugo know? How to blow stuff up and yell swear words all the time. Yeah, if I wanted a piece of that, I could have just gone downtown and looked for the next third-rate villain attacking the city. Izuku replied as the group chuckled. It's like my papa always said, it's easier to destroy than to create. Maybe that's why Bakugo keeps blasting everything away. Melissa replied. Because his brain is too small to comprehend anything else. Harry asked. I wouldn't be surprised if he had accidentally blew some of his brain cells up too with how often he uses his quirk. Izuku added. The group all share a hearty laugh as they smiled together. Thanks you guys, I really needed that. Izuku replied as the sound of a limousine pulls up next to them. Limousine's a little early today. Harry commented as the chauffeur steps out and opens the door for a man in a suit. Inko Midoriya. Melissa Shield. A man's voice said as he stepped out of the limousine with a smile on his face. How the hell are you? This guy here in the fancy suit and the overly expensive haircut. This is Norman Osborne. Harry's dad and CEO of Oscorp, the largest tech industry in the entire world. And don't let the attire fool you, this guy knows his stuff. After all, he's a scientist too. Hello Osborne-san. Izuku said as he bowed to Norman. It's good to see you again, Mr. Osborne. Melissa added. Please, how many years have I known you two now? It's Mr. CEO. Norman said to the two before chuckling. It's Norman. What are you doing here, Dad? Harry asked. I thought you had back-to-back of business meetings today. It's nice to see you too, son. Norman greeted. My last meeting ended early and I had a bit of time on my hands. So I figured I could pick my boy up from school on the way home. Just I used to. Right, because you've always been the model father figure, Harry growled. Norman's smile twitches a bit before turning his attention back towards Izuku and Melissa. It's so good to see you two again. Norman said to Izuku and Melissa. It's nice to see you too, Osborne, Norman's son. Call me Norman. Norman replied. Okay, Norman, Izuku said unssuringly. That felt weird. But I will allow it. Norman replied. We should catch up. How about I give you two a ride home and we talk along the way? Why, you don't have to do that, honest. Me and Melissa were just going to take the train like normal, Izuku replied. We know you're a busy man, we wouldn't want to hinder your schedule or anything like that. Melissa replied. Nonsense, when Norman Osborne offers you an olive branch, it is wise to accept it without question. A life lesson to learn for you both, when opportunity knocks, you open the door. If you want to succeed, you take the ride. Norman said to Izuku and Melissa as he led them by his shoulder towards the limousine. You know I need a ride too, right? Harry whispered as he followed the three closely behind. Not like you have an actual son or anything, in the limousine, Izuku. Melissa. I hear that you two have taken the top 2 spots in your school's exams this year. Very impressive. Norman asked the two as he poured himself a drink. Though, I can't imagine a low-rank school like that would give either of you actual challenges with minds like yours. Well, I may have over-prepared a bit for the exams, Izuku replied. He's been going to cram school every night for the past few months and studying for 4 more hours when he gets home every day. Melissa replied. Really now? Consider me impressed by your work ethic and discipline, young man. Hard work like that goes a long way. Especially in today's world. Norman said to Izuku. And you, Melissa? How did you find the challenge of the test? Easy, slightly difficult. Not really that difficult, at least, not for me. Melissa replied. I'm actually pretty ahead on the material like Izuku is, so I've been focusing most of my time on building support gears with my papa. David Shield, right. Brilliant man. One of the finest engineers this world has ever been graced with. It's only natural that his daughter would be just as bright as him. Norman replied. I would know, after all, I am something of a scientist myself. Thank you, sir. Melissa replied. Norman, Melissa. It's Norman. Norman replied, I don't suppose your grades are getting any better any time soon, Harry. And no, sir, Harry replied. Typical. Perhaps if you actually sat down and had the discipline to study and review the things Izuku has tutored you on, you wouldn't have been kicked out of all those private schools I used my influence to get you into. Norman replied. You might have even have a bright future ahead of you as well like these two. Harry looks down at his feet as he grits his teeth in frustrations. It's not Harry's fault, sir. Some of the material is just worded really weirdly. Harry does fine in English and, of course he does fine in English, it's his first language. Norman replied. I should be the one apologizing, Maybe I didn't explain it well enough so that he could. Don't ever apologize for being the smartest one in the room, Izuku. I never do. Norman replied as he looked over to Harry. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, as I always say. Looking at a mathematic equation and understanding it are two very different things. Norman scoffs as he drinks the last of his liquor. Harry continues to look down at his feet, avoiding eye contact with Norman. So you two, graduation is approaching soon, right? Any plans for the future so far? Norman asked. I'll be applying to you. For the hero course. Izuku replied. I'll be applying there too, but for the support course rather than the hero course. Melissa replied. Quite the high bar to be reaching for. Is among one of the best hero schools to attend for someone aspiring to be a hero. But its courses for technological purposes are adequate as well, I suppose. Norman replied. But if you don't mind me asking, Izuku, why did you choose the hero course instead of the support course like Melissa? Well, I've always wanted to be a hero, like my favorite hero, All Might. Izuku replied. It's always been a dream of mine, so I thought that as long as I studied hard enough and did my best, then maybe I could become a hero like All Might too, even if I was quirkless. All Might, huh? Norman asked. I hope you don't mind me saying this, and I mean this with no offense, young man, but a mind like yours is wasted on something like the hero course. Norman replied. It's such a shame to see someone of your talents wasting their time in that school of barbarians. I don't think I understand you. Is one of the best schools for becoming a hero. You are truly brilliant, Izuku, but being brilliant isn't enough, Izuku. Not for you, high at least. You need to have drive, ambition, motivation. You need to work 10 times harder than those around you if you want to succeed in the world of science. And believe me, you have just that. Norman said to Izuku and Melissa. I can see it in your eyes, you have a certain spark within you. The same spark your mother had when I first met her too. Young, ambitious, driven, desperate to use her talents to help heal the world, as she always said. Izuku looks down at his feet, remembering his mother's crying face in the pouring rain. Forgive me, my little hero. Inko's voice echoed in Izuku's mind. Izuku, Melissa whispered as she held Izuku's hand. Dad, maybe lay off a bit, the geniuses are talking here, Harry. Don't interrupt. Norman replied. Izuku, I know that your school life is less than ideal in terms of your relationships with your classmates. You're telling me, I'm just glad I didn't have to worry about Flash Thompson stealing my shoes today. Izuku replied. You know, when I was your age, I was treated the same way. All because I was smarter than them. But you know, as I got older, I realized a hard truth. Izuku, people bully you because they're both scared and jealous of what you could become. While their futures may be mediocre, yours is filled with endless potential. Norman said to Izuku. But most of all, you need to be willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish your goals. The limousine then comes to a complete stop as the window behind Izuku and Melissa opens, revealing the chauffeur. We've arrived at Horizon Labs, sir. The chauffeur said to Norman. I'll walk you both to the door. Harry, you stay put. Norman said as he opened the door. Dad, Harry called out, only for Norman to slam the door in Harry's face. Izuku and Melissa are let out by the chauffeur, the two step out of the vehicle and Norman approaches Izuku once more. Back to what I was saying, there will always be someone trying to tear down everything you've built. Someone who can't stand the thought of you rising above them. And in that moment, you'll have to decide, will you let them win? Or will you show them you were always meant to be more? It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, you're either the dog or you're not. Norman finished. Thank you for the ride home, Izuku replied, still looking down at his shoes. Norman pushes Izuku's head up lightly as he dusts off Izuku's uniform and helps him stand up straight. Chin up, kiddo. Where the world sees overwhelming potential, something that helps someone break the mold on the old and outdated, they'll always try to push it down, force it to conform. Never conform to their standards, Izuku. Be who you were always meant to be. A man destined for greatness. Norman said to Izuku. Your mother would be very proud of you, Izuku. After all, I know I would be if you were my son. Norman begins to walk back towards his limousine as his chauffeur opens the door for him. If you doesn't work out, and let's be honest, they rarely know how to recognize true innovators who think outside of the box, give me a call. Oscorp will always have a place for someone like you. Norman said to Izuku as he turned back to face them. Norman then looks over to Melissa and smiles. The same goes to you as well, Melissa. You'd both be working with real and accomplished scientists, all of them with so much to teach you. I would be honored to have such a brilliant mind such as yourselves working for me. Norman said to Melissa. Thank you for the offer, but if you doesn't work out, I'll be working with my papa at Horizon Labs. Melissa replied. I understand. Norman replied as he nodded to them both. Until next time. The chauffeur closes the doors and the limousine begins to drive away out of Izuku and Melissa's sight. Melissa turns her attention back over towards Izuku, who was wiping away tears in his eyes. Izuku, are you okay? Melissa asked. I'm okay. Just what he said about my mom, it brought up some things I haven't thought about in a long while. Izuku replied. But I'm okay now. I promise. Come on, let's head inside. Alright, Melissa replied as she followed Izuku inside of the building. Inside Horizon Labs, Izuku and Melissa walked down the renovated housing floor and towards their respective rooms. Izuku's room being the furthest door down on the right, while Melissa's room was the closest to the living room. I'm gonna get changed into something more comfy. Meet back out here in, Melissa asked as she opened the door to her room. Yeah, Izuku replied as he waved to Melissa before entering his room. As Izuku closes the door behind him, Melissa stares at Izuku's door with eyes filled with worry. In Izuku's room, Izuku sighs as he drops his book bag onto the floor and takes off his burned uniform jacket. He walks over towards his desk and smiles softly at a photo. I'm home, Mom. Izuku said to the photo on his desk, picking it up as he smiled at Inko. And that is my mom. Inko Midoriya. World-renowned researcher and 4-time Nobel Prize-winning scientist for her work on genetic engineering and the world's leading expert in quirk splicing as well. She's the reason why I love science so much. Everything I know about chemistry and genetics, it's all from her, but one day she just disappeared and I never saw her again. It's like she just vanished into thin air. It's really been over 10 years since I last saw you, Izuku thought to himself as he stared at Inko's smile. -10 years ago. Be a good boy for Uncle Otto, okay Izuku. Inko said to Izuku as she sets him down. Otto, remember what we talked about. If something ever happens to me, please, watch over Izuku for me. Inko, I don't understand, what's going on? Otto exclaimed. There isn't time to explain, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for all of this. This is all my fault. Inko said with tears in her eyes. Curt, I'm sorry, but you'll have to continue our research without me. Inko, I can't do this without you. Please, we've been lab partners for over 20 years, just tell us what's going on. Curt exclaimed. We were all going to heal the world together, weren't we? I'm sorry. But I've made a terrible mistake. I won't let my error in judgment drag any of you down with me. I have to leave. Inko replied with tears in her eyes. Please, watch over my Izuku for me. Inko, don't do this. David said as he walked down the stairs. Horizon Labs needs you. The world needs you and your work on genetic and quirk splicing. Think of all the people you could help with that research. Are you really just going to throw it all away? I'm sorry. Inko whispered as she hugs Izuku one more time. Be strong for mommy, okay? Mommy has to go away now. Be brave for mommy, okay? Don't leave me, mommy, take me with you. Izuku yelled through his tears. I want to come with you, mommy. I'm sorry, but you can't come with me. Inko said to Izuku as she held his face in her hands. Izuku stares at Inko's drenched face in the pouring rain that masked her tears. She held up a weak smile as her eyes became misty. Forgive me, my little hero, Inko whispered. It's okay if you hate me for this, I'll understand. Just know that no matter what happens, mommy will always love you. I'll always love you. Even more than life itself. Inko kisses Izuku on his forehead before turning her back, clutching at her lab coat before walking back towards the taxi. Goodbye, Izuku. Inko whispered. Live a good life and forget about me. Mom, don't leave me. Mom. Izuku yelled as he called out to Inko. Mom, where are you going? Take me with you. Inko, wait. Just tell us what's happening. Otto yelled out to Inko as he held Izuku back. Inko. David called out. Inko. Curt called out. Inko gets into the taxi and signals the driver to go. The taxi then takes off into the night. Izuku breaks free of Otto's hold and chases after the taxi. Mom. Mom. Izuku called out as he chased after the taxi. Mom. Don't leave me. Izuku trips and falls into a muddy puddle, scraping his knee as he looks up and sees the taxi disappearing over the horizon. MOM. Izuku cried out to the departing taxi. Present, Izuku stares at Inko's smile as he gently touches the picture with his hand. Why do you always do this? Melissa's voice asked, bringing Izuku out of his trance. Melissa. Izuku exclaimed in surprise, seeing Melissa in a lab coat outside of his doorway. Do what exactly? Say you're okay when you're clearly not. Melissa replied. You've always been like that, ever since we were kids. Melissa walks into the room and sees Izuku holding the picture of Inko. Is this about what Norman said? About your mom? Melissa asked. It's just I miss her, you know. And they never found where she went, there's no trace of her anywhere, and, Izuku said as he put down the picture. I just want to know if she's still out there somewhere. Somewhere safe, alive, something, anything. But instead, it's just been 10 years of radio silence. Izuku stares at the picture in silence as Melissa looks at the photo alongside him. Melissa sighs and touches Izuku's hand. Izuku is surprised as he looks over to Melissa, seeing her soft smile. Come on. Melissa said to Izuku as she led him out of his room. I think I have something that may cheer you up, Tiger. Wait, where are we? Just come on. Melissa replied as she led Izuku to the elevator. Down in the basement, the elevator doors open as Izuku steps out of the elevator in amazement, staring at the multiple machines constantly rotating as the blue glow of the core illuminates the spiders. Whoa, what is this? Izuku asked as he stepped into the room full of rotating spider webs. It was something that your mom was working on with Dr. Connors. It was Project Arachna. Melissa said to Izuku. Arachna? Izuku asked. It's short for Advanced Recombinant Arachnid Kinetic Neural Adaptation. Melissa replied. This was how Dr. Midoriya first started testing her theories on genetic splicing, as well as completely rewriting the quirk factor DNA sequences. Izuku gazes at the multiple spiderwebs surrounding him, his face breaking into a smile as he stepped into the center of the machine. The machines, the spiders, they're all your mom's design. Melissa said to Izuku. When she met Dr. Connors, the entire project evolved into, well, what it is now. This is amazing. My mom really made all of this? Izuku asked. I knew she specialized in genetic and quirk splicing, but this is, as Izuku continued turning around and gazing at the spiders and the webs surrounding him. Hanging above him, however, was a red and blue spider slowly beginning to descend down towards Izuku with its web. Bonds are like webs, Izuku muttered. What? Melissa asked. Oh, sorry, it's just something that my mom used to say about spider webs. Izuku replied. Even the smallest thread can carry the weight of something worth saving when you help someone. You help everyone. Guess now I get what she was trying to say. Melissa sees Izuku's bright smile among the blue glow of the core next to them. She smiles along with Izuku before joining him. Your mom wanted to explore the possibilities of rewriting DNA completely, down to the molecular level. She saw the suffering that quirks brought some people and wanted to try and help them. She thought that if she could learn how to rewrite DNA, she could potentially rewrite quirk factors as well and completely change every aspect of them. Melissa replied. I remember, she told me a bit about it. But I was too young to understand it, like if someone had a mutation quirk that made it hard for them to eat or sleep or even do basic daily things that and the discrimination they might face for looking well, you know. Izuku replied. Different, yeah, she and Connors, they had the same dream. To heal the world, to fix humanity's biggest problems and make the world better one DNA strand at a time, Melissa replied. And they were making good progress. Each of these spiders are spliced with a whole bunch of different spiders' DNA, meaning DNA splicing was possible. Izuku exclaimed as the red and blue spider landed on his collar. But when your mom disappeared, so did her research. Dr. Connors has been doing everything he could to keep the research going, but he's chosen to focus on, well, other means of experimenting. So for a long while, these spiders have just been sitting here as a sort of memory. Melissa replied. The red and blue spider crawls along Izuku's collar and makes its way onto his neck. This is amazing, Izuku said as he feels a sudden small bite on the back of his neck. Ow. Izuku. Are you okay? Melissa asked. I'm okay, I think. Izuku asked as he felt the spider bite on the back of his neck. What was that? Feel better now? Melissa asked Izuku. Yeah, definitely, I needed that. Thank you, Melissa, Izuku said to Melissa. Anytime, Tiger. Come on, we should probably get out of here. I probably should have mentioned this before, but these spiders are actually radioactive, so it's not a good idea to hang around these things for too long. Melissa explained. Now you say something. Izuku exclaimed. Don't worry, it's only a minuscule amount. No different than from using your phone or standing next to the microwave while it cooks your popcorn. Melissa replied. That's still not very reassuring, Izuku said as he suddenly hears a sharp ringing in his ears. Izuku holds his head in pain as he leans on the wall, his head beginning to spin as he looks around frantically. Izuku notices a spider on the wall crawling into a nearby air vent, confusing him as he shakes his head. Izuku. Melissa asked. Are you okay? Izuku. I am okay, I'm okay, I think I've just been standing too closely to miniature spider-shaped microwaves, Izuku said as he continued walking. What was that? That felt weird. Inside of Izuku's DNA. End of Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Your legacy begins now. We're home, Papa. Melissa announced as she entered the laboratory. Melissa, I didn't expect to see you back so early. David exclaimed as Melissa jumped into his arms. You should have called ahead, I would have picked up our cheesecake order sooner. That's okay, now we can go and pick it up together. Just like the old days. Melissa replied as she hugged David. Are you going to hold my hand and skip down the sidewalk like you used to as well? David asked. Singing Old MacDonald on the way there. Melissa raises her eyebrow and taps her father's shoulder playfully as the two chuckled. Hi Professor Izuku, it's David. Come on, you've been living with us for the past 10 years. Don't act like a stranger. David said to Izuku as he placed his hand on his shoulder. Yeah, he's right Izuku. You're practically family at this point. Melissa added. Right, sorry, Izuku replied as he chuckled. I take it that science club was cancelled today then? David asked. Yeah, the president had some kind of emergency, so no president, no club meetings. Melissa replied. I see. Still, you two are pretty early considering school just let out about 20 minutes ago. And something tells me the trains weren't running early today. David replied. When do they ever? Melissa asked. Whenever I'm not running late it seems. Izuku replied, making the group chuckle. Harry's dad gave us a ride back. We bumped into him on the way back. Melissa replied. He, let me guess, offered you two a spot in Oscorp. David asked. How did you know? Izuku asked. David sighs and takes off his glasses, rubbing the bridge of his nose before cleaning the lens of his glasses. That Norman? David asked as he adjusted his glasses. Still a slithering snake bstrd, even after all these years, Papa, language. Melissa said to David. Sorry pumpkin, it just slipped out sometimes. David replied. I don't mean to pry but you two didn't accept his offer, did you? And no, of course not. I told you before Papa, I want to work under you after I graduate high school. I'm going to learn all I can from you, and then learn from the best of the best. Melissa replied. And I still want to at least try to get into the hero course. So I told him no too, Izuku replied. Though, he was really adamant on me joining Oscorp, like really pushy about it. He was basically only talking to Izuku the entire ride home. Melissa replied. I see. Look, you two, I'm not one to tell you kids what you should be doing with your lives. I know you're both friends with Harry but be wary of Norman Osborne. David said to Izuku and Melissa. Sure, he may put on a charming facade and shower you with compliments. But deep down, the moment you become useless to him, he'll cut you off without a second thought. I don't mean to pry sir, but it sounds like you guys have history with Osborne-san. Izuku asked. That's because we do. He used to be a part of our group, but then he got too ambitious with his work. Where we saw a chance to help the world, Osborne saw an opportunity to profit from the people's suffering. David replied. He wanted to turn our inventions into potential weapons, tools of war, for revenue and profit. He wanted to turn us into an arms-dealing company. That's horrible. The work you guys are doing here, it could do so much more for the people of the world. All of their suffering. We have the power to change all of that. The world's suffering enough problems, why would anyone want to add more to the pot? Izuku asked. I see the apple doesn't fall far from the tree at all. David replied. You want to know something cool, Izuku? Back in college, it was your mother who first stood up against him. My mom? Izuku asked. That's right. Oh, you should have seen the way she tore him down, both argumentatively and morally. She was actually the first one of us to stand up to Norman. David replied. She refused to be a corporation that built its success on the suffering of other people. She believed in a brighter future for Horizon Labs and was willing to bet her entire career on it. After that, Dr. Connors, Otto and myself, since we all held 20% of Horizon Labs stock, we all diluted his share of Horizon Labs among ourselves and voted Norman out of the company and continued our work from there. You never told us that. Melissa replied. Isn't that amazing, Izuku? Your mother put Norman in his place. Yeah, she is. Izuku replied as he adjusted his glasses, smiling to himself as he remembered his mother's smile. But still, I never knew you guys used to be partners. Melissa continued. We were more than that. See, Professor Curt and your mother, they lead the genetics department. While Otto and I handled the engineering aspect, I handled the support gears for the heroes. Otto handled the prosthetics for veterans and other combat-injured heroes. David explained. Norman handled the marketing aspects of our small startup back then. He got us partners, grants, funding, everything we needed in order to properly work. Each of us made up for the other's weaknesses. We weren't just partners, we were a team. But I thought he was a scientist too. Melissa asked. He is. A brilliant one at that, specialized in all of our areas of expertise. When we met him, he was different than what he is today. People in college used to call the five of us the New Horizon for the future. That's actually where we got the name for the lab. Horizon Labs. David continued as he gestured to his lab. All five of us were going to heal the world together. But then Norman changed, he wanted more, he wanted to turn our name into a brand, a weapon even. When we kicked him out of the company, he quickly formed his own company after that, Oscorp. So that's how Oscorp came to be, Izuku asked. I don't know exactly what kind of story he's spinning over there at Oscorp regarding the foundation of it, but there's no doubt in my mind that it was built on scandals, stolen ideas, and taking advantage of the young and hopeful fresh graduates out of college. David replied. Everything we were against doing. Everything your mother was against. Oscorp may be more successful than us in terms of branding, but the equipment and miracles we create here that is worth 100 times more than anything that Oscorp has to offer. Even back then, Mom still put other people's suffering before her own needs. You really are amazing, Mom, Izuku thought to himself as he smiled. When you help someone, you help everyone. Say, how's your friend Harry doing? You too? I imagine with a father like Norman, hardly anything is good enough for him. Norman was never one to settle for mediocrity. David replied. I can't imagine the weight Harry must be feeling, the pressure of trying to meet his expectations. Yeah, he was really rough on him on the car ride home, Melissa added. I tried to cover for him, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. He used that quote, didn't he? David asked. Wow, you weren't kidding when you said you guys go way back. Izuku commented. Oh, that's right. Izuku, since you back from school early today, mind helping Otto out in his lab? David said to Izuku. The science committee is stopping by today to check on our progress. If we impress them enough, then we may receive even more funding from them. Wait, that meeting's today? Izuku asked. I need to help Uncle Otto get everything ready. Oh, mind if I help you out, Papa? I'll handle checking the equipment. Melissa asked David. Of course, Pumpkin, I wouldn't have anyone else as my right hand. David replied. There's no time to waste. Izuku tries to stand up quickly, only for his vision to suddenly become blurry, making him stumble around and lean against the table. OWA. Izuku muttered as he stumbles onto the table, knocking over David's pencil cup and notes. Izuku. David asked as he catches Izuku. Izuku, are you feeling alright? Izuku. Melissa yelled as she touches Izuku's shoulder. Easy there, kiddo, nice and slow, David said to Izuku as he helped him stand back up. Sorry, guess I just lost my balance there for a minute, Izuku thought to himself. I'm okay now, I promise guys, I'm okay, are you sure? Maybe you should sit down. I'm fine, I promise, I'm fine. Izuku said as he wipes the sweat off of his forehead, his breathing getting a bit heavier as his vision blurs in and out. This feeling, it's like before, in the hallway, but this time it felt stronger. So hungry, so thirsty. Izuku, you're sweating, Melissa replied as she wiped off the sweat with a rag. Here, have some water. David said to Izuku as he handed him a bottle of water. Izuku opens the bottle of water and begins to drink the water. To Melissa and David's surprise, Izuku drinks the entire water bottle in one go. Izuku finishes the last of the water off and exhales deeply. That hit the spot, thanks Professor Shield, Izuku said as he placed the bottle back down. That was 5 liters of water. Melissa commented. It was. Izuku asked as he looked on the bottle, seeing the liters on the front. Guess I was a lot thirstier than I thought, clearly must have had a long day at school then. David asked as Izuku looks over to the proteins bars on the desk. Are you gonna finish that? Izuku asked as he pointed to the 3 protein bars. Help yourself, kiddo, David said as he handed Izuku the protein bars. Izuku immediately rips open the wrappers all at once and eats them furiously, barely even taking a breath in between bites. Wow, hungry and thirsty, Melissa commented. Guess school lunches aren't doing it for you, huh? David asked as Izuku finishes the last of the protein bars. As Izuku finally takes a breath of air, he begins to sweat again as he looks behind him, spotting the refrigerator. Izuku immediately stumbles over towards the refrigerator and opens the door, seeing all of the wrapped leftovers inside of the fridge. Izuku. Melissa asked as Izuku pulled off the plastic wrapping over the meatloaf and begins to eat the food, closing his eyes as he savored the flavor. Melissa, this meatloaf is the best meatloaf I've ever tasted. Izuku said as he finished off the meatloaf. You should make some more, that was delicious. Something's wrong with him, Melissa whispered. Yeah, I thought he didn't like meatloaf, David whispered back. Do you think it's drags? And no way. Izuku would never. Melissa replied. What is wrong with you, Papa? You know Izuku isn't like that. I'm just saying. David whispered back. If you guys don't mind. I'm just gonna take all of these leftovers with me. Izuku said as he carried a variety of leftovers in his arms. Izuku, you know that lo mein's been in the fridge for a while now, right? Melissa asked. You're taking the frozen mac and cheese too. At least warm it up a bit. David replied. No time. Izuku said with a mouthful of cheese slices. I'll just eat it like this. See you. Izuku pulls out a pack of string cheese and rips open the plastic around them, dunking his head into the pile of leftover in his arms like a dog and continues to eat, heading towards Otto's laboratory. He really likes cheese too, I guess. David replied. Well, at least we won't have to worry about mold in the freezer now. Where's Dr. Connors' papa? Melissa asked as she looked around. He's in his office right now, getting everything in order for the science committee. David replied. Mind going in to check on him? Sure thing. Be right back. Melissa replied as she ran towards Dr. Connors' lab. In Dr. Connors' lab, Dr. Connors holds up a small vial filled with green liquid within it in the darkness of his office. How could you do this to us, Inko? All of our work, the years, the hours, and the minutes we've put in together, all of our research and progress. Gone and deleted, along with you. And what's worse? Your secrets along with you. Dr. Connors thought as he stared at the vial. You and you alone managed to crack the secret to genetic splicing. Your work was meant to be the bridge between hope and reality. We could have changed the world together. And yet you just abandoned everything we were working towards and destroyed everything. Dooming humanity to a world of weakness. Dr. Connors stares at a group picture of himself, Inko, David, Otto and Norman when they were in college, glaring at Inko's smile. In the end, you were just as selfish as Osborne was. I don't know what it was that caused you to do what you did, but I refuse to abandon humanity's problems like you did. Dr. Connors continued to think. If you aren't willing to heal the world, then I'll be the one to do it myself. Your secrets may be hidden for now. But through your spiders, I'll learn how you spliced DNA together. I'll discover your decay rate algorithm soon enough, and when I do, our once shared dream will become a reality. Dr. Connors then pulls out a device from a locked cabinet in his drawer, placing it in front of him on his desk. 40,000 years of evolution, Dr. Connors said as he stared at the light green liquid within the vial. And we've barely tapped into the vastness of human potential. Dr. Connors inserts the vial into a device and rolls down his lab coat, revealing his right shoulder. Dr. Connors then injects the liquid into his shoulder using the device. Dr. Connors grits his teeth in pain before opening his eyes, his pupils changing into that of a lizard's for a moment before returning to normal. A knock is then heard on his office door, catching his attention as Dr. Connors quickly puts away the device and locks the cabinet. Dr. Connors. Are you in there? Melissa asked. Papa wanted me to check on you, make sure everything was all set for the science committee to see. I'll be right out, Melissa, thank you. Dr. Connors replied as he looked at his prosthetic right arm. In Otto's lab, Izuku enters the room to Otto's lab, finishing off the last of the food in his arms before burping and closing the door before looking over to Otto. Izuku sees him hooked up to the machine as he continues a nearby prosthetic arm. "Whoa," Izuku muttered as he stared at Otto. "Uncle Otto, Izuku. You're home early," Otto said as he moved his hand. "The prosthetic prototype," Izuku exclaimed as he ran over to Otto, gazing at the moving mechanical arm. "It's working. It's actually working." "It is, isn't it exciting?" Otto asked as he continued to move the mechanical arm. "This is what all of our hard work has been for." "When did you?" I just finished it a few minutes ago." "The Science Grant Committee is stopping by soon, to see the progress on each of our research. This will be a good chance for us to receive even more funding from them," Otto replied as Izuku stepped closer. "There's no time to lose." "Wait, did you do an equipment check first?" "Check all the parameters, make sure all of the calculations and voltages are," Izuku asked. "It's fine, Izuku, I designed the prototype myself, I think I can handle it," Otto replied. "Don't worry about old Uncle Otto-san, he'll be just fine." "But what if," Izuku asked as he suddenly feels a sharp jolt in his mind, making him look to his left and catching a face full of sparks from the machine by him. "Izuku!" Otto yelled as multiple sparks begin to flare up even more around him. "Izuku, I'm okay. It's the power dampeners, they're overloading." Izuku yelled as he ran to the computer, seeing the multiple warning messages. "At this rate, the circuits on the neural matrix will overload. We have to abort." "Not yet. I can. Otto said through his gritting teeth as the chip on the back of his neck began to spark. "Uncle Otto!" Izuku exclaimed as he ran towards Otto, quickly hitting the emergency shutdown button before disconnecting him from the machine. "Uncle Otto! Uncle Otto!" "Another setback," Otto whispered before coughing. "But we're close, Izuku. I can feel it. The next generation of prosthetics is near at hand." To their surprise, the door to Otto's lab opens and 3 people enter the room, 2 men and a woman with glasses. The woman coughs from the smoke filling the room as she whiffs her hand around. "Otto!" David yelled as he ran into the room. "What happened? Is anyone hurt?" "And no, we're fine, David," Otto said as they all faced the science committee together. "What exactly happened in here?" the woman with glasses asked. "The energy levels exceeded our expectations," Otto said to the committee, interrupting Izuku. "But from a certain viewpoint, that's a very positive development." "It certainly doesn't smell very positive," the woman replied to Otto. "Not to mention you have a child in here, you could have put him in danger. I assure you, in the next phase of our development, we could." "Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here, is there somewhere else we can discuss this?" the woman asked. "Preferably somewhere less smoky." "I'll handle this, don't worry. You just rest up, Otto," David said to Otto as he approached the science committee. "Please, follow me. We can talk more in the other room." "David, Otto, I got this. Don't worry," David said to Otto as he gave him a thumbs up. David leads the science committee into another room as Izuku and Melissa help Otto up onto his feet. "Are you alright, Uncle Otto?" Izuku asked. "I'm fine, kiddo, just a bit dizzy from the light show is all," Otto replied as he chuckled. "I'm sorry, I should have done an equipment check sooner for you. As soon as I stepped through the door, if I had, then maybe, it's not your fault, Izuku. I suppose in my excitement to test the prototype, I may have skipped some safety measures," Otto replied as he adjusted his glasses. "Without you, I may have been seriously hurt. So it was a good thing you came when you did. Thank you, Izuku." Izuku looks over to the prosthetic arm on the table, examining it closely before trying to move it. The arm immediately sparks upon Izuku's touch. "Ow. Yeah, this thing is really banged up," Izuku said as the arm sparks once more, surprising him. Let's run some diagnostics. Izuku picks up a tablet and connects to the prosthetic via wireless connection. Alright, beginning diagnostics now, Izuku said as the tablet began scanning. What seems to be the problem, doctor? Otto asked as he chuckled. Izuku chuckles alongside Otto as the tablet finishes scanning. Looks like the servo control path's been damaged, alongside the servo motor, and there's an issue with the power voltage control. Izuku replied. If I was here sooner, I could have caught this. Then the science committee would have gotten a better impression of our work. Trial and error, Izuku, that's all science is. What matters is what we learn and take with us along the way. Otto replied. Besides, David is more suited for this kind of thing anyway. His latest work for support gear for the heroes has been proceeding well lately. That, and with Connor's research, I'm sure the committee will continue funding us on that strength alone. But still, it'd be nice for someone to recognize the work you're doing here too, Uncle Otto. I mean, if we can get these new prosthetics to work properly, imagine the changes we can make to the world. Not just for heroes, but for the people of the world too. Izuku replied, making Otto smile. Well, maybe we can repair this quickly and present this to the science committee before they leave. Mind giving me a hand? Otto asked Izuku. You got it, uncle. Izuku replied as he put down the tablet. I'll get the tools off of the shelf. I'll get the soldering iron ready. Otto replied. As Izuku runs over to the tools, searching frantically for the tools, Otto smiles proudly at Izuku as he remembers a distant memory from over 10 years ago. -3 weeks after Inko left, Izuku sits in his new room, holding his blanket over his head as he cries to himself, clutching at the photo of Inko and himself tightly as he whimpered. Suddenly the creak of his door alerts him as he peeks out from underneath his sheets. To his surprise, a small white and flying robot hovers around his room and stops in front of him, startling Izuku. What's this thing? Izuku asked frantically as the small robot stops in front of Izuku. Hi there, Izuku. I'm Buddybot exclaimed as he flew excitedly around Izuku. Be Buddybot, Izuku asked. That's right. Your newest small and travel-sized buddy. Buddybot exclaimed. Ready to have a whole bunch of fun and play any game you want to play, Izuku. Buddybot flies around Izuku's room, picking up an All Might doll and a dinosaur toy. Wanna play heroes and villains? Here. Buddybot said to Izuku as he handed him the All Might figure. You be All Might, I'll be the bad guy. Roar. I'm gonna tear down this city unless a cool and strong hero can stop me. Bwahaha. Izuku stares at Buddybot for a moment before looking down at the All Might toy in his hand. I don't want to play right now, Izuku said slowly as he dropped the All Might figure. I just want to be alone right now. I'm sorry, Izuku, I know you're feeling sad, Buddybot said to the young Izuku. I can't imagine the pain you must be feeling right now, and I'm sorry that I can't just make it go away immediately. But you know, you're not alone. Your mom, she would have wanted you to be happy. Then why did she leave me? Izuku asked as he began to cry. I want her to come back, I want to go with her, I want to be happy with her. I know, Izuku, I know. But life isn't always fair. And it won't always make sense, but that doesn't mean we should just give up. Look at the heroes around us, they're always facing impossible odds and rising to the occasion, right? But not all heroes wear capes, Izuku. Life itself is full of problems and challenges. Like when the heroes go out to fight the villains, we have to do the same with our own problems and face them head-on. Buddybot said to Izuku. But heroes don't always have to fight alone, Izuku. You have people here who truly care about you. Otto, Curt, David, Melissa. We're all here for you. We want to see you, we want to be there for you. We want to be your new family. Buddy Boy floats up to Izuku and gives him a hug on his cheek. So will you come out and meet us? Please. Buddy Boy asked as he suddenly began to release wild sparks and malfunction. Ow ow. Izuku yelled as he covered his cheek from the spark. No 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 no. Otto said as he ran into the room to quickly turn off the sparking robot. That wasn't supposed to happen, he, Uncle Otto, Izuku muttered. Are you alright, Izuku? Otto asked as he knelt down, examining Izuku's body. Were you hurt anywhere? No, Izuku replied. Izuku drops down onto the ground and kneels down towards Buddy Bot. You made this? Izuku asked as he picked up Buddy Bot. I did. Do you like it? Otto asked. I noticed that you haven't played with any of your All Might toys, so I figured I'd try my hand at making a toy, but I guess it still needs some work, hehe. This is really cool, Izuku said as he examined Buddy Bot. How did you make something like this? Why don't I show you instead? Otto asked as he offered Izuku his hand. Care for a little trip downstairs? Izuku stares at Otto's smile before hesitantly grabbing his hand. In the lab, Otto opens the doors to the lab and allows Izuku to enter first. Whoa! Izuku muttered as he stared all around at Otto's lab, still holding on to Buddy Bot. This is all yours? Izuku asked. That's right, everything in this lab belongs to me. This is where all the magic happens. Otto said as he walked over to a nearby table. This is where I created Buddy Bot. Though it would seem not as well as I had hoped. So cool. Izuku exclaimed as he adjusted his glasses, staring at all of the machinery around him. Over here, Izuku. Otto said to Izuku as he led him over to a table. Would you mind placing Buddy Boy down onto the table for me? What are you going to do to him? Izuku asked as he held Buddy Boy closer. Why, fix him up for you, of course. Otto replied. That way, you two can get back to playing together. The sooner the better. You can fix him? Izuku asked as he stared at Otto with admiration. All that and more. Otto replied as he pulled up a chair next to him. Want to see how everything works? Izuku nods as he places Buddy Bot onto the table. Alrighty then, let's get to work. Otto said as he picks Izuku up and places him onto the chair. First, we're gonna have to run some diagnostics. Diagram, Izuku asked. Diagnostics, Otto sounded out slowly as he began to take Buddy Bot apart. Diagnostics, Izuku said slowly. What's that? Well, it's like scanning something to see what's still working and what's not. Otto said as he pulls a laptop in front of Izuku. For our little friend here, we just have to plug him in and, Otto spins the laptop around and shows Izuku a loading bar. Whoa! Izuku said with eyes widening with excitement. Izuku stares at the screen as it began scanning Buddy Bot. See that there? Can you read what that says? Otto asked. Circuit board damaged, voltage exceeded capacity limits. Power regulator not responding, Izuku repeated. That's correct. This means that somewhere deep inside of Buddy Bot, something is broken and is stopping him from working properly. Otto explained as he grabbed a screwdriver. Like a boo-boo on his heart? Izuku asked. Something like that. Otto replied as he chuckled, popping out Buddy Bot's circuit panel. Was it because I said I didn't want to play with him? Izuku asked as he began to cry. I didn't mean to hurt his feelings, I never meant to make him sad. Izuku looks over to Buddy Bot on the table and touches his chest. I'm sorry Buddy Bot, I didn't mean to make you sad, Izuku said with tears running down his face. I'm sure he didn't blame you, Izuku. Don't worry. Otto replied as he nuzzled Izuku's head. But maybe if I just played with him more, he wouldn't have, Izuku said through his tears. He just wanted to make me feel better and there kiddo, it's okay. It wasn't your fault, Otto said to Izuku as he took off Izuku's glasses and wiped away his tears. There's no need to cry, I promise. We'll fix him up together, then when we do, you can play with Buddy Bot as much as you want. How can I help? I want to help fix Buddy Bot. Can I help you? Izuku asked as Otto put his glasses back on. Of course you can. I'll teach you how to fix him up. Otto replied as he handed Izuku a screwdriver. Here, why don't you give it a shot? See that component right there? Why yes, Izuku said, still sniffling through his tears. Otto hugs Izuku from behind and holds him closely. Don't worry, we're here for you, Izuku. I'm here for you, for whatever it is you may need, Otto replied. Here, let's get started. Izuku awkwardly holds the screwdriver, trying to unscrew the components from inside of Buddy Boy. Otto chuckles as he helps Izuku hold the screwdriver properly. A few minutes later, Otto puts thick and black goggles over Izuku's eyes before doing the same for himself. Otto activates a small blowtorch and begins to weld something inside of BuddyBot. An hour later, Izuku is holding a soldering iron with Otto's assistance, soldering the circuit board together. After soldering the circuit board, Izuku manages to screw the panel back into BuddyBot as Otto continued programming on his computer. Izuku watches Otto in awe, staring at the multiple lines of code going by on the screen. After 3 hours of working, Izuku puts the final panel back onto BuddyBot, causing BuddyBot's screen to light up once more. And that's all there is to it. Otto said as Buddy Boy flew all around the room. BuddyBot. You're all better now. Izuku exclaimed. That's right. I'm BuddyBot. Your newest small and travel-sized buddy. Ready to have a whole bunch of fun and play any game you want to play, Izuku. BuddyBot exclaimed. BuddyBot, I'm sorry for what I said before. I didn't mean to hurt you, I'm sorry. Izuku said to BuddyBot, that's okay, Izuku. No harm no foul, as I always say. I'm just happy to see that smile on your face. BuddyBot replied. Glad to see you're doing better now, buddy. Thank you, Uncle Otto, for fixing BuddyBot, Izuku said to Otto as he turned to face him. I have no idea what you mean, Izuku. You fixed him up all on your own. The credit is all yours. Otto said to Izuku. Good work, Izuku. Thank you. Izuku replied as he hugged Otto, surprising him. Izuku, thank you, Uncle Otto. Thank you so much. Izuku said to Otto. Thank you for helping fix me up, Izuku. Now I'm better than ever. BuddyBot exclaimed as he held out his tiny hand towards Izuku. Up high, pal. Yeah. Izuku exclaimed as he high-fived BuddyBot. Did you have fun learning how to fix Buddy Boy, Izuku? Otto asked. That was really fun. I liked it a lot. Izuku exclaimed. Can you teach me more? Please, please. He really is eager to create, just like his mother, Otto thought as he chuckled. Well, if the opportunity arises, you'll be the first one I'll call to assist me. So then, I'm like your assistant? Izuku asked. I would say more of an apprentice. Otto replied. Sounds like you two are having more fun than I am in here. Dr. Connors said as he entered the room. Curt, good timing. Izuku, this is Dr. Connors, you remember him. He held you once when you were a baby. Otto asked Izuku. I'm pretty sure we all did when Inko first brought him to the lab. The tiny fella could barely open his eyes back then. Dr. Connors replied. I'm Dr. Curt Connors. I used to work with your mother. It's a pleasure to meet you again. Oh, it's nice to meet you too, sir. Izuku said as he shook Dr. Connors' hand. Please, you can call me Curt. Dr. Connors replied. Izuku looks down to the hand he was shaking with, seeing Dr. Connors' mechanical arm. You have a robot arm. Izuku exclaimed as he jumped at Curt's mechanical arm. Whoa, that's so cool. I'm glad someone thinks so. Dr. Connors said as he showed Izuku his arm. Years ago, I lost my arm during a villain attack in my younger years. It was, well, not pretty for anyone. I thought my life was over. That was until I met these two here. Otto Octavius and David Shield. Together, They helped create me a new prosthetic and gave me a second chance at life. And now, I repay their kindness forward by working here at Horizon Labs. Do you have a quirk, Dr. Connors? Izuku asked. I do. Dr. Connors said as he takes a scalpel and cuts the top of his finger. What are you doing? Are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? Izuku asked. No, it's alright, Izuku. Look closely. Dr. Connors said to Izuku as he shows him his wound beginning to regenerate and close his wound easily. How did you do that? Izuku exclaimed as he smiled. This is my quirk. Adaptive cellular rejuvenation. Curt said as he showed Izuku his finger. My quirk allows me to activate my cells on command in order to regenerate and heal any wound I receive on my body. Basically, any cut or injury I sustain on my body, I can easily heal it back up. But with that quirk, couldn't you just grow your arm back? Izuku asked. I can only heal wounds, unfortunately. As for regenerating entire limbs, well, that's where my limits are with my quirk. Rejuvenation is not the same as regeneration, unfortunately. Dr. Connors explained. I'm sorry, Izuku replied. I didn't mean to. It's quite alright, young man. Dr. Connors replied. You were just curious, like your mother was. All the work we do here for Horizon Industries is to not only help humanity overcome their weaknesses, but to also create the very gadgets and tools the heroes use in their mission to protect both us and the world from evil criminals. Otto replied. Your mother and Dr. Connors were researching genetic splicing in order to help cure some of humanity's deadliest diseases, as well as learning the secrets of the quirk factors within the human body. Mom did that? Izuku asked. Quirk research. She did a lot more than that, kiddo. She wanted to learn how to manipulate the quirk factor so that people with mutation-type quirks could possibly face less discrimination. She knew of the suffering that quirks can cause for some people and made it her mission to try to give them a chance to live a normal life. Curt replied as he gestured towards his side of the lab. Want to have a look at what I do here? Izuku looks over to Otto, who nods his head, allowing Izuku to run into Curt's lab and see a wall of lizards in glass cages. Hey Izuku, wait up. Buddy Boy yelled as he followed Izuku. This is all so amazing. Izuku said as he took a step forward, seeing all of Curt's lizards in their glass cages. Why do you have so many lizards here, Dr. Connors? Some lizards are able to regenerate back entire limbs on command. Your mother and I were working on the same project together to help humanity overcome its weaknesses, think about it. Izuku. A world where every disease we know of has a cure, cancer, Huntington's, ALS. If we could learn how to isolate that specific gene within the lizard's DNA, we'd be changing the world for the better. Dr. Connors said to Izuku. And get your arm back. Izuku exclaimed. Yes, that too. You learn fast, don't you? Dr. Connors asked as the door behind them opens. I think you're gonna explode the poor kid's brains out, Curt. David said as he entered the room and chuckled. Nonsense, if he's anything like his mother, then science is his field of expertise. Otto replied as he joined the group. Izuku looks up at David, who flashes him a bright smile as he knelt down to Izuku's eye level. Glad to see you're doing okay, Izuku. I'm Professor David Shield. I work in the tech department alongside Otto, but I make support gear for heroes. It's nice to finally see you coming out of your room. David said to Izuku. You had us worried there, champ. Support gear for heroes. Izuku exclaimed excitedly. What kind of heroes? Have you ever met any of the heroes? Do you have hero friends? Have you ever met All Might in person? Met All Might? Kid, back in his heyday, I was his sidekick. David proudly exclaimed. You were All Might's sidekick. Izuku exclaimed excitedly. Back when he first made his debut in America. Who do you think designed his costumes? Golden Age, Bronze Age, Silver Age, all me, kid. David Shield said proudly as he laughed like all might. We've been friends for a long time now, kid. No way. That's so awesome. Izuku exclaimed. Papa. Melissa's voice asked as she entered the room. Melissa, I'm sorry Pumpkin, I didn't know you woke up from your nap. David said to Melissa. Melissa immediately locks eyes with Izuku and runs up to him. Hi. Melissa exclaimed with a bright smile as she stops in front of Izuku. You're the boy from before. I'm so glad to finally meet you. Hi. Izuku replied in sudden shock. She's really pretty, I'm Melissa Shield. My papa's David Shield. Melissa exclaimed excitedly as she held out her hand. What's your name? Uncle Otto. Izuku asked as he tugged on Otto's hand. Yes, Izuku. Otto asked. Is she an angel? Izuku asked as he pointed at Melissa. Otto and David look at each other and chuckle, much to Izuku's confusion. Say, why don't you two go and play with BuddyBot for a bit? David asked. That's a good idea. You two can test BuddyBot's repairs. Make sure all of BuddyBot's functions are working properly. Otto replied. That sounds like fun. Can I play with you, Izuku? Melissa asked as she jumped excitedly. Come on, let's play. Let's play. Izuku looks at Melissa, then back over to Otto, who nods his head as he smiles for Izuku. Oh okay. Yeah, let's play Melissa-san. Izuku exclaimed as he smiled. Then let's get this game started. Tag, you're it. BuddyBot yelled as he tapped Izuku. Hey, that's not fair. I wasn't ready. Izuku laughed as he tried to tag Melissa. I'm gonna getcha. No way, no way. Get away from me. Melissa yelled as she and BuddyBot ran away from Izuku together. The three all run around the lab wildly as Izuku chased after Buddy Boy and Melissa, to which Otto, David and Curt see and laugh together. Present, you really have come such a long way, my boy. Words alone cannot express just how proud I am of you, Izuku, Otto thought as he looked at a picture of him and Inko in middle school. I only wish your mother were here to see the man you're slowly growing into becoming. She would have been proud of you. To Otto's surprise, a loud crash is suddenly heard as he looks over to where Izuku was searching for the tools, seeing Izuku suddenly on the floor, breathing heavily as he sweated profusely. Izuku. Otto asked as he ran over to Izuku, dropping to his knees as he held Izuku's head up. Izuku. Otto touches Izuku's forehead, feeling Izuku's head burning up as he continued to sweat. The science committee and David all rush back into the lab, seeing Izuku passed out onto the floor. David, call an ambulance. Something's wrong with Izuku. He's burning up and he's breathing too heavily, Otto yelled. David, please. On it. David yelled back. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to reschedule this grant meeting another time. Professor Shield, this meeting there's another matter that's more important right now. David yelled as he runs past the grant committee and pulls out his phone, stopping in front of Izuku and Otto before kneeling. Hello. This is David Shield calling from Horizon Labs. I need you to send down an ambulance immediately. There's a boy who's fallen ill here who needs immediate medical attention. At Oscorp Industries, the limousine stops in front of Oscorp, the chauffeur steps out of the driver's side and opens the door for Norman to step out. Follow me, Harry. Norman said to Harry as he adjusted his jacket. For what? For you to tell me what a disappointment I am. Harry asked. Just drop me home, I said out of the car, son. Now. Norman demanded. Harry sighs and reluctantly steps out of the limousine and stands before Norman. What's this about, Dad? Harry asked in annoyance. Harry. Take a look around me. Take a good long look at this building, the courtyard, the entrance. Now tell me, what do you see? Norman asked. Oscorp, Dad. I see Oscorp. Harry replied. Then you're either blind as a bat or a complete fool. Where you see Oscorp, I see a legacy. A legacy that will one day be yours. Norman said to Harry. You think I created all of this out of thin air, son? You think I was born with a corporation like this backing me? No. Everything you see before you, okay Dad, I get it, alright. Harry said to Norman. I'm a screw-up, I'm an idiot, everything is my fault, I'm an embarrassment to the Osborne name. Yeah, cool, great. Can I go now? You're not understanding what I'm trying to tell you, Harry. You could learn a thing or two from Izuku. That boy has had significantly less advantages than you do, less resources, less connections than you do, yet he managed to make something of himself, and one day he's going to do great things. While you'll be lucky to make minimum wage flipping burgers or frying chicken. Norman replied. If you want to succeed in life, son, then you have to be willing to take the initiative and take control of your own destiny. To use your talents adequately for your own gain, just like Izuku is trying to do. Well, why don't you just adopt Izuku then? Because it seems like you love him more than you do your own son. I guess you just see him as more of an Osborne than I ever was, right? Harry yelled, to which Norman immediately slaps Harry across his face. That's enough. Norman replied, cutting Harry off. You're officially parked in a no-whining zone. Harry holds his cheek in pain as he looked up at Norman, who towered over him as he looked down upon him. You think this is a matter of favoritism? A matter of who I like more? No, Harry. It all boils down to whoever I respect more. Norman said to Harry as he readjusted Harry's school blazer. That boy was born with nothing and is making the most out of his talents. He works hard, he studies even harder. He is beaten and put down time and time again, yet he continues to work on his talents. And with his work ethic and drive, that boy is going to achieve great things, all on his own steam. Harry looks up at his father fearfully, his hands shaking with fear. Meanwhile, you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, anything you ever wanted, I gave to you. And how did you repay me? Terrible grades, terrible work ethic and lack of motivation. Perhaps the fault lies with me. I've been too lax with you, let you have a life of luxury instead of forcing you to earn it like I did. Norman said to Harry. It's time you learn what it means to be a man, son. We Osborns are born from tough love, son. If you're going to be the heir to Oscorp, then you have to become the kind of man who can make the hardest choices. So grow up, be a man. You're an Osborne. So start acting like one. A security guard then approaches Norman and whispers in his ear, to which Norman nods. In a tech lab in Oscorp, what do you mean my authorization has been revoked? A bald man yelled angrily at the team of scientists before him. Answer me. Why have I been locked out of my own project? As we've said before, all of your access to Project VULTURE has been revoked as of this morning. You are no longer authorized to work on the flight tech system and must vacate the premises immediately. Author's note, Project VULTUR stands for Vertical Uplift and Long-Range Tactical Unified Reconnaissance Exosuit. The flight tech system belongs solely to Oscorp Industries and the Technological Development Department. Norman said to Adrian as he stepped into the lab with 4 security guards. Osborne. The man yelled. Adrian. I'm surprised to see you're still here. Norman said as he walked down the stairs with Harry trailing behind. What is the meaning of this? I presented to you the latest and innovative flight tech known to mankind and you rejected it. Then 4 months later, you release Oscorp's patented flight tech system. Adrian yelled. You completely stole my tech and made it your own. That's dangerous talk, Mr. Toombs. Dangerous and unsupportable without any kind of evidence saying so. Norman said to Adrian as he approached him face to face. I tried to do this professionally, but it seems that this is the only way you'll listen. What Ryu, Adrian Toombs, as of today effective immediately, your employment at Oscorp Industries is hereby terminated. Your services will no longer be required. Norman said as he ripped off Adrian's name badge. In other words, you're done. How dare you? After everything I've done for you. All the work I've done for you. You think I'll stand for this, Osborne? Adrian yelled. Listen to me, you old buzzard. You've been at this for decades without one success to your name. If you've never accomplished anything as a young man, who'd believe you created tech flight as an old man? Norman said with a smirk on his face. Boys, show Mr. Toombs the way out. Don't let him trip on his way out. This isn't over, Osborne. You'll pay for this. I swear it, you will pay. Adrian yelled as he's escorted out of the building. That's what it means to be an Osborne, Harry. To be a man who can make the tough calls, to do what has to be done. One day, you're going to be faced with a choice. And that choice will define you for the rest of your life. Norman replied. However, something to keep in mind, son. Osborns don't need to choose, we take. Take control of your destiny now, son, before it's too late. Harry looks over to his right, seeing a prototype glider on a large pedestal next to him. Take control of my own destiny, huh? Harry thought to himself. End of chapter 2.